I was in Canada for about 8 months before I was able to secure a job. Story time. Before I begin my story, I need to make a disclaimer. Disclaimer, please, this is my own story. I am not in any way making this video to discourage anybody. If Canada is in your list to come to, please come to Canada. Do not feel discouraged. If you want to come study in Canada, please come study in Canada. This is my own story. I am just making this story to share my own experience and most importantly to document my own Canadian journey. Do you understand? So please take note of that. Now let's get right into my story. I arrived Canada August 26th, 2024 as an international student. Back in my home country, I had a lot of expectations. I had a lot of deadlines I drew for myself, when to get a job, how much I'm going to save in 6 months, those kind of things. So I already calculated how many hours I'm going to work while I'm in school, how many hours I'm going to work during holiday. You get what I mean? To save money. Funny enough, not to save money for my, to pay my school fees because my parents already paid everything. Like, my parents paid everything, right? Even before I arrived. So the saving of money was not even for my school fees. So that was exactly the kind of, plans and expectations I had for myself. But coming into Canada, it was something different. Everything I planned for didn't happen the way I planned for it to happen. You get what I mean? And coming into Canada, I landed in Toronto and I did not have anybody welcome me. My school and my city was off Toronto and I needed to, transport myself all alone to the city. That will be story for another day. That's not the reason for this video. The reason for this video is for job. Now let's get right to it. Arriving in Canada, when I finally got into my city, I went into my Airbnb. I'm just trying to summarize that whole part. I went to my Airbnb, got a house. Getting a house, another story for another day. I'm going to share that. If you're interested, let me know. So I finally got a house, then I started applying. Even while I was in my Airbnb, I was applying for jobs on Indeed. Yes, I was. My school resumed, I think September 5th or thereabouts, 2024, if I remember. So my school resumed. I resumed school. I started making friends. And normally I'm not a friendly person. That's one thing Canada is going to teach you. You have to speak up. You have to be open-minded. I was never that person. I was never a friendly person. I don't like friends, but coming to Canada, I had to. You get what I mean? So I started making friends, started asking questions. I started doing walk-ins to, shopping malls, submitting my resumes, because I was, I needed a job. It didn't work. I did a lot. I tried. There was nothing I didn't do. There was no kind of job I did not apply for. Just tell me, oh, Precious, they're hiring over there. The next day I'm there. I'm not even waste time. Get what I mean? Like, I don't select job, or rather, I did not select job. Whatever you say, oh, I'm going to do this. These guys are hiring. I rush there to go apply. I don't do, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm too bougie. For where? I don't do that one. Oh. So wherever you tell me they're hiring, I rushed to that place and I applied. You get me? So I kept doing that way. I walked into the malls. I went to the plazas. I went to supermarkets. I went to variety stores. I went everywhere. Name it. I went to restaurants. Just name it. Get where I no go. I find work tired. I did not do any bougie making. I didn't do any of that shit. You get me? So I tried my best. I did everything and it didn't work. I was looking at the timeline I gave myself. Time was going. September finished. I no see work. October, November, I no see work. December, when snow started, I was so depressed. I didn't get a job. I wasn't doing anything. And winter made me so depressed. Man, it was crazy. My mates were going out for, work and it was home and it was snowing and it was so cold. And I was thinking about my life like, what the hell? Like, if this wasn't the plan, you get me? At the end of the day, I give God the glory. God will always be God. God can be trusted. That's one thing I know for sure. I've known this since I was a child. God can be trusted. God is not a man that he would lie. Yes, he is not. So God can be trusted. I put my faith in God. My faith grew stronger. It has always been strong. I prayed. I fasted. I did a lot of things That moment was my down moment. I wasn't myself, like I was a shadow of myself. I did a lot of overthinking, and naturally I'm an overthinker. So just imagine an overthinker at that situation. It was crazy. I felt very sick, I think in January ending ish, because the no job thing weighed me down. When I met, they were like, oh, don't worry, the max you get a job here is like 3 months ish. And I said, okay. I arrived August. Okay, let's just do August, of September, October, November. Okay, I was just like, okay, no problem, maybe December ish I should get a job, you know what I mean? Like that should be like my 3rd month, or that kind of calculation I was told. But December finish, I don't see anything. January, I don't see anything. Guy, I was down. I have never been that down in my life. I have never overthought in that manner before in my life. Like at some point I was thinking I was unemployable. I'm like, is there anything I'm doing wrong? Because even when people I mingle with, when they go for interview and they get a job, I ask them for their resume. You get what I mean? Like their resume to check with mine to know if there is something they did I didn't do. I interchanged the resume. I have sent my resume to my friends who have been here for a while. They have been here before I came, right? I sent my resume to them to like cross-check, just in case I did something naughty. These guys were like, your resume is fine. There is nothing there. It's okay. It's clean. It's professional, right? I just don't know why job is not forthcoming. I forgot to mention, sorry, I even attended job fairs. There was no job fair they did in my city I did not attend. I attended job fairs, and job fairs were tired of me. And I did walk-ins like crazy, to the extent that some managers even knew me, that immediately they see me coming, they'll be like, oh my God, Precious, I'm so sorry, we're not hiring right now. They kept saying that to me, and it was so heartbreaking, because these are people that will promise you, oh, come next month, and you go next month and they'll tell you, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not hiring. Do you know how heartbreaking that is? Man, that period, I complained. I cried. My parents were like, well, you said you want to go to Canada. Why are you complaining? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's true. So yeah, I cried. I cried my eyes out. That period, I cried. I prayed. It was crazy. The first job I got, not like I got the job, but that was the first interview I did. I applied on Indeed, and the organization reached out to me for an interview. It was a sales associate job. I went into the organization for the physical interview. After the online interview, I did the physical interview. The lady said, okay, she's going to get back to me. I prepared very well for that interview. That was the first interview ever I did in Canada. And that should be in November, right? No, not November. That should be in October. That was last year. I really can't remember, but I think when I go through my Indeed, I should figure that out, but I'll check later. I think that should be sometime ending of October 2024-ish. That was when I did that first interview. I did that first interview. It was the position of a sales associate in a jewelry store. The interviewer said I did well, and she was going to get back to me, that she has other people, in quotes, she wants to interview as well. 2 weeks later, she got back to me and was like, I'm sorry, Precious, unfortunately we chose another candidate over you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. That okay, that's fine did not come out from my heart, because I wanted to swear for her. It was not funny. I wanted to swear for her. Like, I was crying. I don't even know what I go through. I was crying in that. After that response, I went to my room. I was crying, like, God, why me? Because I put in my work into that interview. I researched, I studied, like I did a lot for the interview to make sure I was selected. But maybe God has, not maybe, of course, God had better plans for his baby girl. Yeah. The second interview I had was November 2024. Yeah, November 2024, a month after the first one. And the second one was a job I really liked. And how I was able to, get interviewed with that organization is a miracle. Or rather, was a miracle, because it's hard. That organization is somewhere I've been applying since I arrived in September, and I kept getting rejections. But miraculously, someone referred me to that organization. And how I met that person was a miracle too, because I don't go out. The only going out I do is to job hunt. So let me talk about how I met the person that referred me to the job I have now. So there was a day I went somewhere I had been applying for a job to go, do a follow-up. I usually do that after about 3 weeks-ish. So I went there for a follow-up, and they still told me their normal story. We'll get back to you, blah, blah, blah. The boo ha ha, they used to say. So I decided to leave. On my way downstairs, I decided to use the elevator instead of the staircase. Then when I entered the elevator, I met this beautiful Jamaican lady. Jamaicans, if you're in Jamaica watching this video, I love you guys. You guys are so sweet. And Kenyans too. Jamaicans and Kenyans. You guys are, God bless you guys. One love. So back to my story. I met this beautiful Jamaican lady and just like said hi to her, and we started having a conversation. I kind of kicked off the conversation, you get. I mean, I was job hunting, I was trying to talk to people. I don't know who my destiny helper was going to be at that time. So I started the conversation and she was like, oh, do you work here? And I'm like, no, I don't work here. Actually, I came to job hunt here. I've been applying and I haven't been getting any response. I came for like a follow-up. I now asked her, so do you work here? She said, no, not really, but I came for an interview. And that the way she's saying it, they might call her back. And I'm like, oh, nice, congratulations. So she now asked me, what kind of job are you looking for? I told her, I don't have any kind of job. Just if you know anywhere that is hiring, tell your baby girl is going to apply. I'm not someone that will tell you, oh, I want this, I want that. I don't do that. Just anyone at all, I'm going to apply. So she now said, okay, no problem. I should exchange number with her and she's going to get back to me. I told her, no problem. I gave her my number, then we parted ways. I went home that day, I prayed. I told God, God, please, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I know you're going to do this. This job would come and it would be a job that would never stress me. It would be a job that would deserve the wait. That was the prayer I prayed, so I slept. A week later, she reached out to me and she was like, oh, Precious, I got the job. Remember, she did an interview when I met her. On the day I met her, at that place I went to. So she said, oh, Precious, I got the job, but I ditched it. I'm like, you did ditch job where me I did fine. Are you okay? So she was like, oh, no, not like that. But that is not the only job she's applied for. There is this organization she has been, trying to get into, and it has been taking a long time. They finally called her and she was given the job after the interview immediately. And I'm like, oh, wow, congratulations. I tap into your blessings. I wish that for myself too. I rejoiced with her. Then she was like, if you don't mind, I can refer you to my supervisor. At that point, I was like, are you kidding me? You can refer me to your supervisor? You just got employed. I mean, you've not even worked there yet. You're just employed. She was like, yeah, she can refer me that her supervisor seemed to be a nice person. And I was like, I wasn't telling her, I was just saying that in my mind. I'm like, this person, you should be a good person, because to refer someone at your workplace where you just got, employed and you've not even started working, that's a huge, that is huge. It's really huge. I don't think anybody can do that. It's rare people that does that. And I don't know the kind of mind she had to tell me that. But at that point, I knew God was working. I just told her, okay, no problem, that she can just, give it time. Maybe work for like a week before she could, refer me. That was the advice I gave her. She said, no problem, that she's going to do it this month. And that was in November. That should be first week of November. I would never forget. First week of November. 20th of November, she texted me. She was like, hi, Precious, please send your resume. I have told my supervisor about you. Send your resume, let me correct some things for you, then send it across to you. Then I'll send you her email to forward your resume to her. I was like, is this how God works? I did send my resume to her. She made some corrections and she sent it back. She sent her supervisor's email. I forwarded the resume to her email. She replied me after 24 hours and she was like, would you be available for an interview? Video interview, mind you, not physical yet. Would you be available on the 26th of November? I was like, yes, sure I would. Me with a fine work. I said yes. So she said, okay, we did 9 a.m. I think, 26th of November. Then on that day, I prepared. Before that day, rather, I prepared. Man, it was crazy. One of my friends I had working in the same, not the same organization, but the same field. I told him about it and he was like, oh my God, that's so nice. Let me prep you. My friend prepped me. That guy gave me bars class. He prepped me. They might ask you this is how you answer. They will do this. He prepped me. So I did my own, research and studying on my own. On that day, I skilled. Trust your girl. I gave them bars. I did well. I can proudly beat my chest and tell you guys, I did well. And I knew, there are things that you would do. You'll be like, I'm not really sure if I did well. But this one, I beat my chest, I did well, very well. I was very sure about that. I told all my friends I did well. And I also told my friend, my Jamaican friend that referred me, I did was just like, okay, girl. So in about a few weeks, you're gonna be called for the physical, then you start working. I said, okay, you guys. That was when the waiting started. Anyway, I think this video is gonna be divided into 2 parts. This should be the part 1. Please, if you've watched to this extent, like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. I'll see you on the part 2. Bye.